In this presentation, we'll go over some key concepts around AP automation and invoice processing and how you can utilize PSIGEN's products to automate and make the process much more efficient. So we all know that accounting equals paper. I mean, you walk into any accounting department across the country and there's usually multiple file cabinets. Not only are there centralized file cabinets, most of the clerks have their own file cabinets. There's paper piled on top of the cabinets as well as on people's desks and their inboxes and outboxes. So it can be quite painful. And one of the key statistics here is that most businesses are still receiving and processing paper-based invoices. So the cost of processing paper is very well known, and a few years ago AIM, or the Association for Information and Image Management, did a study, and they found out that companies spend quite a bit of money to file documents, to find misfiled documents, and to reproduce lost documents. So you can see 20, 120, 220, kind of a broad range, but these costs can really add up for just about any type of business. Now, along with those costs, there's also costs that are specific to paper-based invoices and AP departments. So let's look at 4 specific areas and the costs that can be associated with those. The first is shipping and mail. So if you've got an organization that has a headquarters with an accounting department and they've got branches or remote locations, typically the received invoices are shipped to central headquarters for processing. Now they can be shipped, they can be mailed, they can be sent by courier, and it can be quite pricey if you look at the different amount of invoices that you'd have to bring into headquarters to process. So along with that, you've got a time delay. So when you do the shipping, you can add a day or two to the processing time, which leads to our next cost, payment cycles. So 25% of all invoices are paid late, and a lot of this has to do with the type of processing that's associated and inefficiencies that are associated with paper. So these cycle times can lead to late payments. You can pay penalties. You can't really take advantage of early pay discounts. Along with that, you've got a lot of data entry errors that can lead to the need to go back and reprocess invoices, which can add to that time. The next cost associated is in searching and locating information about the invoices or the invoices themselves. We see quite a few implementations where a single audit or a single legal issue and the time associated with that can easily pay for a digital invoice processing solution. We all know that searching file cabinets is painful. Sometimes files will be checked out and on people's desks and we can't find them. So it's very, very expensive to work with paper, especially when you're searching and locating files. Now the last piece is archive and storage. People love to maintain their paper, whether they're doing it to comply with a law or they just like to have the paper if they ever have to go back and reference it. So long-term storage costs can really add up, whether you're storing in an off-site facility, you're having the big truck come and pick it up, third-party storage provider, and take it back to a storage facility, the cost of file cabinet space from a real estate perspective, or if you just look at it from a disaster recovery perspective. Now, a lot of folks think about a disaster as, hurricane, maybe an earthquake, maybe a massive fire, but really a disaster can be as simple as a frozen pipe. Okay, if you look at the recent weather that we've had here in the U.S., there's all types of issues with pipes bursting. You look at the southeast U.S. that's had a freeze spell where folks haven't been able to get into work. So if you've got these online and digitally stored, they'll always be available for access and always be backed up. Now, what we've talked about are a bunch of reasons to move into digital invoice processing. What I'd like to do is just show you a quick survey of chief financial officers that was done a while back, where they interviewed folks after they implemented digital AP process. And you can see that they've done a bunch of very interesting things here. They've got some key areas that they've talked about: reduce cycle times, audit process improvements, improve visibility of process. So everything's focused around reducing costs and taking advantage of the efficiencies that a digital AP process can implement. Now, the last thing I'll throw up on the screen from a filing time and cost comparison is the cost just to file invoices. So this is the time it takes for your accounts payable clerk or your accounting personnel to take that invoice, go and file it either in a filing cabinet or just to simply scan it and process it. So the time to file a paper invoice is about 5 minutes. Now, if you look at paying somebody $20 an hour, that's going to cost you $1.67 per invoice. Scanning and imaging, quick and simple. The time is based on the level of automation that you choose, but you're looking at about 50 cents an invoice. Okay, so you're looking at 3 times the cost of filing a paper invoice. And if you're doing 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 invoices per month, those costs can really add up. So what are the solutions out there? At PSIGEN, the way that we look at AP solutions is we chop them into 3 buckets: basic, intermediate, and advanced. So a basic solution is a very low level of automation. Typically what this is the invoices are still processed in the same manner through your accounting workflow, but they're scanned and archived at the end of the process. So now you've got a digital copy in a searchable content repository that you can bring up and reference if you need to. Okay, there's really no impact on a current process. This is the lowest cost solution as well, and it gives you some great benefits. The intermediate solution, the invoices are scanned and processed at receipt. Some or all of the data is extracted automatically. Typically, departments that have this type of solution will have multiple screens for their clerks, so they can have the invoice on one screen, their ERP or accounting system on the other screen, and it really eases data entry into the system. Okay, very simple process. You can validate the data. Once again, a little bit more automation. Now the final solution is advanced. In this, invoices are received and processed. Header data as well as line item information is automatically extracted. Now that line item information is automatically passed into your accounting system, as well as the invoices are placed into a searchable repository. Okay, top level of automation, and obviously the more you automate, the more efficiency you gain, and the lower costs these types of processes will incur. So now that I've mapped out basic, intermediate, and advanced, from a technical perspective, what PSIGEN offers from a basic solution perspective, you buy the product, you've got very basic point-and-click data entry where you can hover over information on an invoice and click it. You can have drop-downs or lists of vendors that come back from your accounting system. And then you can archive the invoices along with the information into a searchable repository, and we support 60+ different systems. Okay. Now to go to intermediate, all you have to do is add a module and some services to customize the system. And now we've got all the basic options, but we can auto extract header information. So now your folks aren't manually keying data. It's being auto extracted. It's the next level of automation, and we can file these once again and archive them. Now, the last, or the most advanced from an automation perspective, we automatically classify and identify vendor invoices that are scanned. We not only extract the header information, but also the line item data. We integrate with both your accounting and your content system, and we provide the ability to do web-based approvals as well if you do project-based accounting. So in this example, your clerks will look at a spreadsheet-based QA interface where all the data has been extracted. Click OK to accept the results, and you're off to the races. Okay. So just to give you kind of a bird's eye view of the process, all the different solutions that we offer solve the invoice capture equation. On one side, you've got copiers, desktop scanners, maybe people are faxing and emailing invoices into you. What we give you is a really simple way to route and process, either through a basic, intermediate, or advanced solution, route to your personnel, and then let them release the information either to your ERP and accounting or your content repository for later search and retrieval capability. So that's it in a nutshell. On the PSIGEN website, as well as our YouTube channel, we've got demonstrations of the basic, intermediate, and advanced solutions so you can take a peek and figure out what's right for you. If you have any questions or you want to find a PSIGEN reseller, shoot us a note at sales@PSIGEN.com or give us a call. Thank you.